Welcome to Fascinating, a Star Trek podcast. Balance of Terror.
In this week's episode, Kirk and the Enterprise face off against a mysterious and astute opponent when the Romulan Star Empire breaks a century of silence to launch a raid on outposts along the neutral zone. With both commanders looking to capitalise on their advantages, it becomes clear that one ship will not survive the encounter. Will Kirk prevail, or has he finally met his match?
Good evening, Ian. How are you?
I'm not too bad, Gerry. Welcome back.
That was quite an ominous warning, a portent.
Yes, I think you should read the omens.
If you were getting married and there was an alert went off, a warning, you might think, yeah, maybe we should think about this for a while.
Yeah, take a second to step back and consider whether this is the right choice.
So, how's the old COVID-19 been for you?
It hasn't really affected me that much, but obviously it's been a bit rocky for some people. We hope everyone listening is safe and well.
Yeah, we're back recording again face to face. Although we have taken some measures, we are certainly the 2 metres apart, and there's a perspex. Well, there not really, is there?
There's no perspex, but we are 2 metres, I would say. Maybe just under.
Yeah.
It's fine, you've been tested, right?
Yeah.
Not for COVID.
Not for COVID, yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Brings back the good old days. No. Yeah. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, we could both still get it and perish, but...
It's fine, I'm going for a long drive later to find out whether I'm sick or not.
Oh, topical? Local? Yeah. Taking the old, what is it, your malaria tablets?
That's the ones. They keep me going. Did you enjoy this episode? It was an iconic villain at last. We've not had any yet.
Yes, I think I did enjoy it.
You don't remember? Did you watch this before the lockdown?
Well, here's the thing. I was halfway through taking my notes when the lockdown kicked in. So the first part of these notes, literally the first 25 minutes, was many months ago.
Okay, and you didn't rewatch it?
I sort of rewatched it, but the point is my notes...
Alright, so you don't know what you said?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm reading these and thinking, what does I mean by that? Much like most of the listeners every other week.
You like the Romulans, though?
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah. I should remind folk, they've probably forgotten it's been so long, that they can get in touch with us on social media.
They can, yeah. And people have been.
They have been, yeah. And should they so desire, we're at Trek Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We've not been very noisy during the break, but we will be back.
Yeah. Nothing to say.
Well, why harass folk when you've got nothing important to give them? Anyhow, you can leave your reviews of the podcast over at Apple Podcasts if you're so inclined, and we would encourage and thank you for doing so.
We would.
Shall we get going?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this week, on the positive side, there was some very impressive leadership from Kirk, both at a military level and a personal.
Sure. Yeah, he's a shining moment.
Where do we start?
Well, apparently the ship has a chapel of non-denominational standing.
We see Scotty setting up a webcam so that everyone on board can view the ceremony that's taking place, or is about to take place, as Kirk receives a call from the bridge.
Yes, he arrives at the chapel and checks in with Spock.
Yep, he walks over to take this call with a smile, but receives what appears to be bad news.
Yeah, a second outpost is not responding and a third has gone silent. So Kirk confirms his orders. I think they must have been already established to head for Outpost 4 and for Spock to let him know if anything changes.
Yeah, we then learn what the gathering is for as Scotty walks a female yellow shirt down the aisle to stand beside her soon-to-be husband as Here Comes the Bride is played. So it's good to know that in the future, Here Comes the Bride is still a thing.
Yeah, it's a popular musical. It's just lack of imagination, though, isn't it?
Of course. I'm going to say it's good to know. It's not good to know. It's a terrible dirge.
Yes, it's terrible. The ceremony gets underway.
Yeah, being overseen or being performed by Kirk, who has the invested power.
He does, as he explains. And we heard a bit of this, I think, at the top of the show, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Who's getting married?
Oh, I don't know, Tomlinson?
Yep, and Robert Tomlinson and Angela Martin.
Okay.
However, as Kirk continues with the service, they are interrupted by that alert that you referenced there.
Sulu is calling for a general alert and for the captain to report to the bridge, so the ceremony cannot continue.
I took a note at this point.
Did you?
Yes, it simply says, dead meat.
Doomed.
Doomed, yeah. There's no way that both of these young lovebirds are making this out alive. No chance whatsoever.
You don't think so? I mean, the show's not known for killing people off.
Yes, it is.
Random.
Of course it is. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that it's the 60s equivalent of, it's a cop. He's only got a few days to retirement.
Yes, nothing bad can happen. He's going to have a nice easy, oh no, dead.
Credits. And then a captain's log, 1709.2. What does it tell us?
They're responding to an emergency call from Outpost 4 on the edge of the neutral zone between their space and that belonging to the twin planets of Romulus and Remus.
Uncle Remus from Song of the South.
Is that not that really racist old Disney film that they're not allowed to show anymore?
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved that as a kid as well. Briar Rabbit and all that sort of stuff.
Brought up on extreme racism, is that how it worked?
It wasn't racist back then.
It's not racist to you, that's fine.
Old Jeffrey Doodah.
Up on the bridge, Uhura confirms the message from Outpost 4 and Lieutenant Styles advises that they are 8 minutes away.
Styles. Huh. What do you think of him?
Well, he just seems like every other navigator that they seem to have.
A bit of an ass.
Yeah, but they seem to have a new one every week.
Yeah, because they all end up getting shot or sent to other planets.
Disgraced,
yeah.
Anyhow, Scotty assures Kirk that he can get them there faster.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? They're heading at max speed and they're 8 minutes away.
Yeah, and that's not good enough because it's under attack. So Scotty's going to bleed some more from the engines.
Yeah, they still have no firm identification of the attacker. Although this Styles character claims that there can't be much doubt.
It's a bit, what's the word? Cryptic?
Yeah, well, for us at this point, not knowing what he knows or what he thinks. But, I mean, it's a claim that Kirk doesn't seem to disagree with.
Well, you don't get much of a reaction from Kirk at all, do you?
No, he then uses some really ropey technology to map the star sector and their position.
Yeah, and he has this map shown to all decks so that he can address the crew about the situation.
I wasn't very happy, or I wasn't very convinced with this map.
Yeah, you didn't like it?
No, there were 7 Earth bases apparently, but they seemed very concentrated. Too close together, spread out a little bit.
Well, they're on asteroids. You can't choose where the asteroids are.
Is that what it was?
I believe so.
I just thought they were all cramped. There was no need for that many Earth bases so close together.
Yeah, the nature of space being large and vast is kind of makes it difficult for them to accurately show, I think, how a neutral zone would appear.
Okay, fair enough.
But I think you can imagine that there is a 3-dimensional area of space that nobody's meant to go into, and these outposts are along. They're maybe not even that close together. Maybe some of them are, given that there's 3 dimensions, they're not just on the same sort of plane. Maybe some of them are at different directions.
Okay, I'll accept that. Kirk then opens a ship-wide communication, which he asks Spock to deliver, before ending with some rather disturbing news of his own.
Referring to the map on your screens, you will note beyond the moving position of our vessel, a line of Earth outpost stations. Constructed on asteroids, they monitor the neutral zone, established by treaty after the Earth-Romulan conflict of over a century ago. As you may recall from your histories, this conflict was fought by our standards today with primitive atomic weapons and in primitive space vessels, which allowed no quarter, no captives. Nor was there even ship-to-ship visual communication. Therefore, no human, Romulan, or ally has ever seen the other. Earth believes the Romulans to be warlike, cruel, treacherous. And only the Romulans know what they think of Earth. The treaty, set by subspace radio, established this neutral zone entry into which by either side would constitute an act of war. The treaty has been unbroken since that time. Captain?
What you do not know and must now be told is that my command orders on this subject are precise and inviolable. No act, no provocation will be considered sufficient reason to violate the zone. We may defend ourselves, but if necessary, to avoid interspace war, both these outposts and this vessel will be considered expendable. Captain out.
At that point, I'd be considering a mutiny.
Would you?
Yeah. Well, your captain's telling you might be destroyed for the sake of that. I think, yeah, you know what, maybe not.
Yeah. If you wanted to see more of the Earth-Romulan War from a century earlier, you might think, oh, they made a series set a century earlier. Star Trek Enterprise.
Okay.
You might think, oh, I could go and watch it, but they cancelled it before they got to the Earth-Romulan War.
That's disappointing.
It's kind of hinted at in their final season and then doesn't happen because it ends.
There you go. Styles has got a bit of war fever on the go, hasn't he?
He certainly has an attitude about him, doesn't he?
He wants to attack and disagrees with Kirk that they will be unable to identify the aggressors of the ship.
Yeah, he's got family history here.
Now, this is something I wasn't too happy with.
The number of relatives.
No, but this is his personal interest. He's lost ancestors in the original war. So the original war was 100 years ago.
Yeah, so that's 3 generations.
Yeah. He doesn't know these people.
No, they died in the war.
Yeah, precisely. Of course. But even, he didn't know the generation. It's not as if he knew it was his gran and she could tell him about how her husband had been...
No, but it would be his gran's parents.
Yes.
So his gran might tell him about how her parents fought the Romulans and were killed.
Still, I don't think that you've got his attitude. And again, it reminded me a little bit of the issue I had with Kirk in Conscience of the King.
Okay.
Where he took it very, very personally. And I don't think... I don't... like. If my great-grandparents... Right, now, let's not get into family history here, but they're in Europe and around about this part of the world. People's parents did... I can understand in this country, people perhaps of our grandparents' generation maybe had issues. And the same around the world with, say, Germans because of what happened during the war.
That's what I'm going to say. In America with Japanese people as
yes.
well. But this is being written 50 years after World War I and 20 years after World War II. So it's maybe more recent in their minds. Maybe they were still holding some of these prejudices and then they wrote them in for this guy on that basis.
Yes, I would accept that. But my point is that it's too far. Something happened to your great-grandparents, I don't think you would be so... You might be a little bit miffed and perhaps you think to yourself, those Romulans, yeah, they're a bad lot. But this is like an anger, a personal attack as if it happened to his own parents.
But it's a bit different as well because we also continue to be exposed to German people and learn that, there's a lot of nice, decent folk as opposed to these Romulans went silent. So all you know of them is they killed all these folk and then we never heard from them again.
Yeah.
You've not got any, although obviously they made peace, there's not any sort of positive engagement that they could refer to. They don't have anyone saying, I've become friends with the Romulan, or I've been to Romulus. It's a lovely place.
Yeah, that's fine, but that would be, everyone should have, including Kirk and Spock,
I suppose, yeah.
would have that same attitude. But he's saying that he's got this attitude because there's a personal connection.
It's passed down from family.
So I don't really buy, but anyway, there we go. Spock has some bad news at this point.
Yeah, Outposts 2 and 3 are gone.
Yeah, and the asteroids that they were on are gone also. Pulverised.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
At this, a concerned Kirk orders Uhura to open a communication line with a starbase, giving quarter-hour updates before calling battle stations and setting all weapons to full power. He means business.
He does. Down in the phaser room, we see Tomlinson and Martine.
Now, is this a ongoing room, this phaser room? Do we come back to this? No. Just like the bowling alley.
It's kind of like that.
The chapel.
I think we've seen the phaser room once before.
Have we?
I think we have. Or at least we saw one of the navigators was running tests, remember? I can't remember which one it was. They were running tests of the phasers. Yeah. And we saw an engineering room, but I don't remember which one it was.
Okay. In any case, Angela energises phasers before she has a bit of banter with her nearly dead meat husband.
Yeah, he's not got much skill in the old small talk department, does he?
No.
I need to remind you, I'm your superior officer. Stop this.
Maybe they like a bit of role play.
He just came across as a bit awkward.
Yeah, mind you, it's not really role play when that
is his role. In any event, the weapons are ready. They're hot.
Oh, yeah. Back up in the bridge. Outpost 4 is still there according to Spock's sensors, and they're only 5 minutes away.
It seems that Scott has made them slower rather than faster, because they were 8 minutes away about
10 minutes
10
ago.
minutes ago.
And Uhura regains contact, where we hear the voice of a distressed commander. I think his name's Hansen. His message is not good.
He's a descendant of Alan Hansen.
He is, yeah.
It's another very topical. No, it's not topical at all.
Not topical.
It's very local.
Well, yeah. Certainly UK.
Anyhow, Hansen advises that outposts 2, 3 and 8 are gone.
What's happened to the ones in between?
Well, they're obviously in a different part of space. Maybe they're not numbered in order.
Or 2, 3 and 8 are all on the same plane?
Yeah. The Romulan ship can only go in a straight line.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they've been destroyed by an unknown weapon that managed to get through deflector shields on Max.
Yeah, and his deflectors were destroyed by a single blow from this weapon, and another hit will render the outpost
helpless.
Well, it'll be gone.
Yeah, they're in a bit of trouble, aren't they?
Yeah, and also he can't find the ship that did it.
No?
It's vanished off his sensors.
Yeah, but he, I think, is now in range to communicate via Skype.
Yeah, he's got, I think it's Zoom. You're not with the times
No,
anymore.
no, I'm not with that. I keep talking about it. Yeah. It's all about TikTok and Zoom these days. And
that's it, you're behind the times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we see that he's on fire, and his outpost is on fire.
Yeah.
He explains to us that he's a mile deep in this asteroid, and he's still been set on fire by this weapon.
Yeah, he's in all sorts of bother here, isn't he? He claims that it was a high-energy plasma that was used as a weapon, but that the vessel then vanished, disappeared.
But as he sees it again, he shares his screen with Kirk.
Can you do that in Zoom these days? A bit
Yeah,
of
you can. Screen sharing, yeah.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
So Kirk can now see this ship appearing from nowhere.
And so he tells Uhura to sound a warning, but they are not acknowledging, and instead obliterate Hansen and the outpost.
A big red plasma ball comes out, and we switch back just in time to see Hansen die.
Yep, and at this, we see them all stare in disbelief, and Spock confirms the terrible news, and that the aggressor ship again has disappeared, as Kirk ponders that the ship might need to become visible in order to attack.
Yeah, it's a bit of an assumption, but I suppose it fits with what they've seen as an initial theory.
Yeah, I think coming up there's not another sort of chancy leap.
There's a few of these. Yeah, both the commanders make them.
Mm-hmm.
Spock notes that this type of invisibility is theoretically possible with the bending of light, but it would be at a huge power cost.
Yeah.
Unless the Romulans have solved that problem.
And I think there's a blip detected on the scanner at this point. Is that right?
Possibly. I didn't note it down, but maybe.
Okay.
Uhura's told at this point to discontinue attempts to signal the enemy ship.
Yeah, I think they then spot the ship.
Well, yeah, they don't spot the ship itself, but they find something on their sensors that gives them an indication of its position.
Yeah, it's unhurriedly travelling to the neutral zone.
Yeah, in a leisurely manner. So Kirk theorises, again, this is a leap, that maybe if he can't see them, they can't see him.
Yeah, that's
like the guy who's got his head under the sand.
It doesn't work for me. This Kirk makes a massive strategic decision, and one that I think's just hugely chancy and leapy.
Yeah, they decide to try and shadow the Romulan craft.
Yeah, he cancels battle stations and orders navigation to follow at exactly the same speed as the other ship, with the hope that if they're noticed, they will appear like a reflection. Now that, I'm sorry, you can't assume that would work.
There's no basis for assuming that they can't see you on their sense when you're not cloaked.
Yeah. Styles is not happy about this and makes it known, claiming that the Enterprise may even have spies on board. Now, where's he getting that from?
It's a line that was cut from Hansen, so you don't know it at this point. Well, you don't know it watching the episode, but originally in the script, Hansen said something about Romulan subterfuge, giving them the plans to the outposts. and that there might be spies. So he gets it from there, but it wasn't in the episode, so this kind of seems like a bit of a leap.
Yeah. However, Sulu agrees, and so Kirk decides to maintain a security alert. Now, that, in fairness, is decent leadership, because he listens to other people's advice and uses their experience. So he is a bit flexible. He's not totally set in his ways. It's not his way or the highway.
No, that's true. At this point, Uhura picks up a transmission from the ship.
I think it's coded.
Yep, and the same as he did with Belloc, Spock's able to hack into their cameras.
Yeah.
That seems to be a skill that he has. So we now can finally, for the first time ever, see a Romulan.
And it's a big-eared and large-eyebrowed fellow.
Spock raises both eyebrows, and Styles gives him a death stare.
Well, that's obviously infuriates Styles. And again, Styles' attitude is not becoming.
No, he again is assuming that because they look like Spock, Spock knows all about them.
And, yeah, maybe sympathetic to them.
Yeah.
I think he mutters under his breath that Spock should try to decode the communications.
He does, and Kirk challenges him here and tells him to leave his bigotry in his quarters. But this is the only challenge that he really gets to his attitude throughout this episode.
Is it? I mean, it does put him in his place a few times. And
he tells him to sit down later on. But at no point does he say, like, drop it.
Are you sure? I've done the impression he did.
Well, we'll see. We'll go along.
Okay.
Anyway, the transmission ends, but Uhura's recorded it, so she gives Spock the tape to continue his translation.
Meanwhile, Sulu notes the ship has changed course, and I think they adjust to follow it.
They do, and we get a nice exterior shot of the Romulan ship. This is the new, fancy, updated graphics.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, it was nice. We see the underside of it. It's painted with a bird before we join them on their bridge with their commander and his navigator, is it?
It's one of the crewmen. I don't know exactly which one, but whoever he is, he suggests that the cloak's not operating correctly, but there may not be an enemy to hide from anyway.
Yeah, but the commander puts his foot down. He clearly knows it best. And he confides in a senior figure.
Yeah, the Centurion.
Now, what is it, the Centurion? Is that a rank, or is that a type of person?
I think he has been promoted away from active, so it's like someone who's promoted to a desk job, having been a commander in the past.
Okay.
So he is senior, but he's not in command because he's not active.
Like perhaps he's not on the executive board anymore, but he's been given a sort of chairmanship.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Life chairman or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Honorary chairman, that's the phrase I was looking for.
Okay. The commander tells him that he's glad to be almost home and that he knows that they are being followed by an Earth ship.
Decius, one of the crewmen, arrives having been summoned by the commander. He has sent I'm not saying illicit, but he was told not to send any messages, and he sent one to the Praetor, who I presume is somewhere between Commander and Centurion, or maybe above Centurion.
Yes, what is Praetor's a rank?
It's a senior rank, so it's like an admiral, I guess.
Okay.
Informing them of the glorious mission. So obviously I think the assumption is there's some kind of personal connection between Decius and this Praetor for him to be sending a message directly and not leaving it to the commanders.
Yeah, it's all politics. All politics.
Romulan society is full of politics. You might find that later on.
Okay.
He is chastised and demoted to 2 ranks.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a vow of silence that was meant to have...
Well, it's not a vow of silence. They were hiding from the other ship.
Yeah, you're vowing to be silent.
Okay.
Yeah, so he accepts this punishment and leaves. And as he does, the Centurion warns that he may cause problems in the future.
Take care, Commander. He has friends, and friends of his kind mean power. And power is danger.
Danger and I are old companions.
We've seen 100 campaigns together, and still I do not understand you.
I think you do. No need to tell you what happens the moment we reach home with proof of the Earthmen's weakness. And we will have proof. The Earth Commander will follow. He must. And when he attacks, we will destroy him. Our gift to the homeland. Another war.
If we are the strong, is this not the signal for war?
Must it always be so? How many comrades have we lost in this way?
Our portion, Commander, is obedience.
Obedience. Duty. Death and more death. Soon even enough for the Praetor's taste. Urian. I find myself wishing for destruction before we can return. Were it not, like you, I am too well trained in my duty to permit it. Continue evasive maneuvers. Now, back to the first course.
The thing with Decius reminded me a bit of, I'm sure you'll get this reference, Miss Congeniality 2. When
Michael Caine?
No, that he was the first one.
Ah.
So Sandra Bullock shows up in the second one, and her new boss is trying to take her off the case, and she's like, well, I'm going to phone the director, I'm a personal friend of the director.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's quite a trope. I'm not sure if I've leapt directly to Miss Congeniality 2 for that.
It was on in my house recently.
Other examples, more high profile, I would have thought. But anyway,
I think
yeah.
that's the main one.
That's the main one, okay.
On the Enterprise bridge, Kirk stares at an empty starscape on the monitor.
Yes, is he not looking at the neutral zone?
Well, he's just looking out into space. It could be anything.
Okay. Anyway, the neutral zone, which according to Styles is less than an hour away.
I don't think it's a different colour or anything. I think it would just look like more space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so he wasn't looking on the map? No,
He was just looking at the stars.
Right, okay. Couldn't remember. That was a long time ago. I watched it.
Yeah, and the Spock confirms the Romulans are heading back towards the neutral zone, and Styles, as you say, confirms that they're less than an hour away, but adds a snide comment about assuming they don't turn back.
Yeah. Scotty communicates at this to let them know that he has some debris from Outpost 4, and Kirk tells him to bring it down to the briefing room where we head.
Styles, Sulu and Spock all join Kirk in leaving the bridge.
Spock shows off his strength.
Well, it's not so much that. I think he's showing the weakness of the material.
Yep.
So this rhodinium, the hardest substance in the known universe, and I wonder, I don't know the dates for your Marvel comics, but I wonder if this is a play off of, they've got a couple of hard metals in that are the hardest substance on Earth.
All right. Don't know about that.
Either adamantium or the other one, vibranium.
Stand and deliver.
Anyhow, Spock says, look, this has been hit with this weapon and now I can crush it with my bare hand.
Yeah, so from this we understand that Romulan weaponry is clearly superior, and coupled with the advantage of the invisibility screen makes him quite a potent or quite a powerful enemy.
Certainly one to be wary of. McCoy interjects at this point with his usual humanitarian point of view, reminding Kirk that he could cause a war.
Yeah, there are millions of lives dependent upon his next actions or inactions.
Well, I think it's Kirk that says inactions, doesn't it? Because he's trying to make the point to McCoy that not acting could be what causes the war.
Yeah.
And he asks the group, Kirk that is, whether there's a realistic prospect of successfully engaging the Romulans.
Scotty is his usual positive self and says yes, they can outrun them.
Yeah, they don't have warp speed, so it would be easy for the Enterprise to outflank them.
But that's not really engaging, is it? That's running away.
Yeah, you can't. That doesn't help you in a battle. You have to stop to fight them.
Yeah, unless of course it's like a sort of flyby. You can zoom up to them and
Shoot
hit
them
and
and fly away.
Yeah. Styles asks if this would be used to, well, I think that's the point, to chase or run. And so Kirk gives him the floor to voice his opinion, and he does so by promoting an attack.
Yes, he says that the Romulans are still on this side of the neutral zone, so there will be no dubiety about who was to blame. But Sulu has a point to make.
Yes, he points out the lack of accuracy considering they have an invisibility advantage, and I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, but Styles makes a good point also that they're tracking them right now, so they can use the sensor information that they've got to track them with to at least put down a blanket of phaser fire that should hit them.
And I think he says that if they don't attack, it's going to show a weakness, and it'll just be worse for them in the long run.
But Sulu correctly points out that if they get destroyed, they'll look even weaker.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Styles points out, or raises the idea that this is how Romulans think. He wants to know why Spock has never shared his knowledge of them.
Yeah, he's taking it a little bit too far here, I
That's a
think.
little bit of an assumption, isn't it?
Yeah. Kirk intervenes and tells him to sit down before Spock speaks up and says that he actually agrees with the Styles. They should attack.
Well, Spock always wants to attack, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We know he's bloodthirsty.
With his big gun.
His big rifle phaser.
But McCoy is still not convinced. However, when Styles acts in a more overtly racist manner and talks about the appearance of the danger, Spock steps in to admit that if they are indeed an offshoot of Vulcans, then it's even more reason to go in the offensive.
Well, this is Spock making assumptions now as well, isn't it? He's saying, oh, well, if you think back in our past, we were terribly violent, and perhaps they split off from us then and have remained terribly violent, even though we are better than that. And
I mean, this is interesting from my point of view. I don't really know much. This is me trying to this is me getting a bit of universe building here.
Yeah, okay, so it's not established on screen yet, but the Vulcan background is they were a warlike and violent race until they followed the teachings of a meditation-y guy whose name you'll get to know later. I think it's Surak. But anyway, basically, that led them down the path of logic, and there may well have been splinter groups that didn't want to do that.
He mentions that a period of brutal colonising. I think that's a nod to the Brits there.
Well, it could be. It could well be. Kirk checks in at this point with Uhura over comms, and they find they're 21 minutes from the neutral zone, and at this range it would take 3 hours to expect a reply to their first report back to the command base.
Yeah, I think we should also mention that McCoy again brings up the humanitarian consequences by asking if he wants a galactic war on his conscience.
Yeah, he's not making a point in much detail. It's more sort of broad strokes from McCoy at this stage.
Yeah, but still,
yeah,
it's worth having that voice there because everyone else just wants to have a battle.
Yeah, that's true. Spock has spotted a potential tactical advantage.
What's that?
There's a comet ahead of the Romulans, and when they enter it, they will leave a visible trail.
Yes, and so he gives the order to Kirk, that is, to prepare to attack. All hands to battle stations.
As McCoy reminds him, he's taking a big risk.
That's the spirit.
Up on the bridge,
on the screen,
Kirk and the crew are preparing to attack the Romulans. They've calculated when they will enter the comet, and Kirk orders an end run to swing around the other side and catch them as they become visible.
Effectively, Kirk is trying to head them off at the pass.
Literally. Meanwhile, on the Romulan ship, their commander is talking to the Centurion.
Yeah, he has a plan to obscure their ship with the comet and immediately turn back and attack whatever is following them.
That, however, has to be aborted when they realise that they are no longer being followed.
Yeah, and so realising their peril, because I think the Romulan commander has worked out what Kirk is up to.
Yep.
He orders an urgent escape manoeuvre. And when I first watched this, there was a bit of I thought they were hit at this point, but no, I think it was the sharp turn.
Yes, it was a sharp turn, yep. Meanwhile, Kirk waits for the Romulan vessel to emerge from the comet, but Sulu reports that it should have happened by now.
Yeah, so he in turn orders a new manoeuvre and vows not to underestimate this adversary again.
Yeah. They lay down phaser fire at this stage, and we see the couple from earlier down in the phaser room once more. Bit ominous for them. They keep kind of showing up, not really doing much.
So back in the Romulan ship, we see that they've been injured. There's been a bit of damage caused by this blind firing.
Yeah, at least some of the shots have hit the ship, and the Centurion at this point sacrifices himself.
Yeah, and we see 2 or 3 people, I think, putting a lot of effort into lifting some very, very heavy polystyrene blocks.
Yeah, they've crushed the Centurion to death. Or almost to death at this stage.
So understandably annoyed, the commander orders all power to be sent to the weapons as he plans an immediate retaliatory strike.
Up on the Enterprise bridge, Sulu reports a phaser overload and Spock's on fire.
He is, yes. Some circuits have been blown. And he looks like a bit of an old school mechanic on the floor, doesn't he, with his tools out.
He literally has
things.
to get under his desk
to
try and fix it.
And things get worse as on screen they see the attack coming towards them, and even emergency warp can't outrun it, meaning that they only have 2 minutes before it hits them.
Yes, it doesn't look good.
No. Sulu thinks that a single phaser shot can stop it, but it isn't possible with the blown circuits.
No. Rand shows up. She's quite concerned. She thinks they're all going to die, so should she really continue logging everything?
Yeah, see, this is there's a fairly, I suppose, pragmatic but pessimistic decision made by Kirk here. He orders a record to be jettisoned immediately. Effectively the black box.
Yes, in case they get blown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Rand there, and I think if you watch it, it looks as if he wants to have a few final words with her. I think he's thinking, this could be the end. I want to say something to her. perhaps let her know of my true feelings, or just say there's a bit of kindness there, but it doesn't really get the moment passes.
Yeah. It makes sense that she's asking whether to continue log entries because they've jettisoned this record. So she's saying, well, is there any point in doing any more? You've already released that one.
Yeah.
But he says, yes, carry on. And Sulu has some good news to change the mood completely.
What's that?
The weapon is dissipating.
Yeah, but it's only 10 seconds until impact.
Yeah, it's not going to be able to completely dissipate.
No.
Rand grabs Kirk, or at least stands very, very close to him as the weapon impacts.
Yeah, and it sustained nothing more than a few stumbles.
That's all. And Spock reports that the phasers are now available, now that it's no use. Which would make you suspicious if you thought he was a Romulan spy.
You would, yeah. It would, yeah.
I don't even think they've gone very far. Because they're still able to see the Romulans on sensors and resume their shadowing manoeuvres.
Yeah.
And warp speed's meant to be faster than light. So you'd have thought they'd be at some distance, but they're
That's a
able
good
to
point,
return fairly quickly.
I think that's a bit of a goof.
Possibly.
Kirk is excited by this new range knowledge.
Well, it's given him a bit more information to work with, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Spock and spirits are lifted again, but as you mentioned, Spock has immediately claimed to have fixed these. Now, I think he used the word impossible a few moments before when he says, can you fix this in time? And he says, no way, it's impossible.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If you thought he or you had suspicions about Spock, this would play into it quite nicely.
Well, without a doubt, yeah. Spock, you told me you couldn't do this. Now, technically you were right, you didn't do it, but you were only a matter of seconds away from doing it, so what's the score here?
Yeah.
At it.
Over on the Romulan ship, the commander is tending to the Centurion, who seems to be now in a very bad way.
Yes. And when told that the reflection has returned, I think he demands that the invisibility cloak is reactivated. But it's clear that he has some respect for his foe here and his strategic thinking. Yeah,
he surmises that the captain of the Enterprise will not repeat an error. But there are obviously issues with the cloak as well, because there's a reference made to fuel running low.
Yes.
So perhaps they can't sustain it indefinitely.
No. Back in the Enterprise bridge, it is less than a minute to the neutral zone, and McCoy wants to know if Kirk intends violating the treaty and warning him that they will be set up to look like they started this attack if it is inside the zone.
Yeah, of course they will.
So, Kirk orders max warp.
Yes, he wants to get to them before they reach the neutral zone, and he orders phasers powered up despite the range.
Yeah. Styles points out that the chances of hitting them at such a distance are minuscule, but this doesn't deter Kirk, and it works as the Romulan ship is struck once more.
Yes, their commander has to order evasive actions once again.
I should say that every time I say Styles, I think of Michael J. Fox's sidekick in Teen Wolf.
Okay. Styles notes they are now 20 seconds away from entering the neutral zone, and Kirk orders Uhura to report to command base that in his judgment there is no option but to enter the neutral zone, despite the fact that earlier he said, let your ship get blown up, don't start a war.
Sorry, I wasn't really listening to you there. I was thinking of Styles on top of the Enterprise doing backflips as it travels down the galaxy.
Sulu and Styles get their orders.
Try to get a keg of beer.
They're going to keep going and keep firing, and I'm going to ignore you.
Selling t-shirts with Kirk's face on doing the wolf dance. Sniffing out some stash.
On the Romulan ship, time is up for the Centurion.
Okay, yeah, right. Yeah.
Decius urges the commander to resume his post and offers to care for the Centurion, but...
No, he's now dead.
The commander says, yeah, he's dead. Don't worry about it.
And he admits the shrewdness of Kirk and has to think of ways to outmaneuver the Enterprise and order that they can. So they're in the back foot now. They just want to get out of there.
Yeah, get home.
Yeah, on the bridge.
The crew. Whose bridge? What?
Oh, the Enterprise bridge.
No, you skipped a bit here.
Have I? Tell me.
The Romulan plan now is to release debris, and amongst the debris include the Centurion's body, to obviously try and give the impression that their ship's been destroyed.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that. Back in the bridge, they spot this debris with the body.
Yeah, they do spot it.
However, Spock quickly works out that it is not sufficient mass for a ship and realises it's a trick.
Yes, but it's worked.
Well, has it? Not only that, but they've lost them.
Yeah, well, it's worked from the Romulans' point of view. They've played this trick and it's paid off. They've managed to obscure themselves completely from the Enterprise sensors.
We now have another captain's log, 1709.6. They are in the neutral zone and believe that the Romulans have got to be close by. Both parties have shut down their engines and are playing a silent waiting game.
Yes, Kirk's working on the assumption, again, that if they can't see the Romulan ship, then it can't see them.
I quite like the fact that it's almost like a game of hide and seek. They're actually having to whisper on the ship.
I don't even have to whisper, I think it's just for effect, isn't it? They have to turn everything off.
There is an eeriness as Kirk tells Spock to work quietly on the repairs he needs to carry out, and we head back over to the Romulan ship.
Yeah, before we do that, I quite like the atmosphere that the low light level creates on the Enterprise bridge. I thought it was a really effective...
I said that, eeriness.
Yeah, but I liked it. I'm saying yes.
Okay.
I enjoyed that piece of direction.
Yes.
As you said, Romulan ship Decius, as usual, making a pain of himself, reckons the Enterprise is probably left.
But the commander, he dismisses this.
Decius is exactly the kind of guy who gets promoted, isn't he?
Yeah.
He knows the Curator. He's useless. He'll get his own ship.
Yeah, but he's a bit of a Dominic Cummings. He's an evil wee guy.
Yeah, he's
do whatever
he's got that sort of weaselly face, doesn't he?
Yeah, little rat. Anyway.
The commander knows better. He knows the Enterprise is still nearby. He feels it.
And we cut to another supplemental captain's log where we discover that they've been motionless now for nearly 10 hours.
It's the kind of captain's log that could have been replaced by a wee caption saying 9 hours later.
Yeah.
Kirk's in his quarters.
He is.
Been there yet in this episode, and Rand comes in uninvited.
Yeah, I think he's obviously contemplating the situation he's in. He's lying in his bed. She enters, as you say, and I think there's an obvious underlying desire to talk from both of them. But instead, he simply accepts a coffee, and the moment is gone when McCoy joins them.
I wish I were on a long sea voyage somewhere. Not too much deck tennis, no frantic dancing, and no responsibility. Why me? I look around that bridge. I see the men waiting for me to make the next move. And Bones, what if I'm wrong?
Captain,
I don't really expect an answer.
but I've got one. Something I seldom say to a customer, Jim. In this galaxy, there's a mathematical probability of 3 million Earth-type planets. And in all of the universe, 3 million galaxies like this. And in all of that, and perhaps more, only one of each of us. Don't destroy the one named Kirk.
Well, there's not only one of Kirk, we've seen a
duplicate more than once.
yeah, sex robots and all that type of stuff, yeah.
A couple of points on this. Firstly, this reminded me of the scene from The Cage that we saw in the menagerie where Pike sought counsel from his doctor. And secondly, McCoy's advice is rubbish. It's really vague. I mean, I suppose you could view it on two levels. One, don't get killed. Two, don't be responsible for starting a war.
Yeah.
There's a way to destroy the one named Kirk, I suppose.
With regards to the reference to Pike, I mean, I think that's understandable, obviously. They're both exactly the same position with the same responsibilities, and I think it's a realistic interpretation of how that type of person would feel. It does have a massive amount of responsibility. And it's nice. I like when Kirk shows his vulnerabilities. He's done it a few times.
Yeah.
And you see him being more human, and you get a better understanding of what he's like. So I appreciated that scene, actually.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Up on the bridge, there's more fodder for those who believe Spock to be a Romulan spy.
Yeah, I think I've wrote here he's making an arse of things.
Of all the people to make such a boneheaded mistake, he literally just reaches up, smacks his desk and turns something on.
He's like Chunk from the Goonies.
It's not
You
even
klutz.
Spock-like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Styles, obviously on edge, suspects Spock to be a saboteur.
I can see his point. Back in the old ROM ship.
The Romulan ship, yes, they've seen this signal from Spock, if it was deliberate.
And they move towards the signal.
Yes.
So, on the bridge, knowing that the hiding is now up, Kirk orders power to be resumed and phasers to be fired again. And I think, is this the third time they get lucky, just be randomly firing at things?
Well, what's happened here is Kirk's anticipated the Romulans' move. So he's got a rough idea of where they are, but he suspects they're moving towards him so they can kind of narrow his field down a bit.
And it really worries the commander.
Yeah, and Decius as well. Decius thinks they might be beaten.
Yeah. The commander claims Kirk to be a sorcerer who can read his brain.
But he's got one more trick up his sleeve.
What's that?
He releases more debris, but this time puts a nuclear bomb in the middle of it.
Whoa. That's
sneaky.
Very sneaky.
He has it armed with a proximity fuse, so I presume the idea is as soon as it reaches the Enterprise, it'll detonate automatically.
Spock notes the debris on the scanner and claims it to be the same as the last time except for a metal-cased object. Again, he's making a mess of this, isn't he? Oh, but that metal case, that's probably nothing.
Might just be a suitcase.
A metal casing, I mean, what can be in that?
Kirk, though, is not so slow-witted. He orders immediate evasive manoeuvres and fires phasers on the debris.
Is that... You think that... He's not so dim-witted? I thought he was. I thought he took Spock's... What? You don't want to shoot a nuclear bomb, if you know that's what it is.
Okay, so you're thinking that the mistake is not identifying it as a nuclear weapon?
Yeah, I think he took Spock's word and fired on it and then, oh, what's going on here?
No, I think what he's done is realised it's a nuclear bomb and that there are best chances to detonate it before it gets too close.
Surely a nuclear bomb would just run away. Get out of
They
there.
might not be able to run out. It's got a proximity fuse.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
In any event, there's a significant explosion and the ship is rocked.
Yeah, quite a bit of damage to the Enterprise, I understand.
There is, and it seems to be kind of hanging in space now, as if it's incapacitated.
Yeah.
And Decius over on the Romulan ship is thrilled, he thinks.
It's a glorious victory.
Yes, but he's so disappointed when the commander orders retreat.
Yeah, he wants to finish them off, which is, again, understandable.
He thinks they have a duty.
Yeah. On the bridge, from sickbay, McCoy confirms that they have sustained 22 casualties. I mean, that's not deaths, that's just injuries.
Yes, no deaths.
Although it could have been worse, he says.
Spock notes that it's a nuclear device.
It was less than 100. You can't shoot a nuclear bomb from 100 metres away. Come on. So does the Enterprise have some sort of nuclear shielding radiation?
No, it would need it in space.
Yeah.
Space is full of radiation.
Yeah, but not nuclear bomb levels. This is Van Halen belt levels of nonsense here.
Well, you know, nuclear bombs are always detonated above the surface of their target.
No, I'm sorry, Ian. If you put the Challenger, not the Challenger, that blew up, didn't it?
Yes.
If you put any spaceship up just now, it needs a certain amount to get into space, but you couldn't survive a nuclear bomb 100 metres away.
No, this is a far future ship. It's
Clearly.
stronger.
And Scotty, he tells them that they only have one forward phaser operational.
And only one man in control of it.
That Tomlinson, was it?
Yes. Styles advises that he has worked in the phaser room in the past, so Kirk sends him down and has Uhura take over navigation.
Yep. Spock then tells Kirk that they now have enough power to move off, but he's not done with the Romulans yet and hopes to pull them back to their side of the neutral zone to finish them off.
Yes.
And decides to play dead.
Playing dead. Possum? Playing possum? Is that what that is?
Yeah. On the enemy ship, they too are having to decide on their next move.
Yes, Decius is a bit of a Styles, isn't he?
Yes.
He argues with the commander, who remains wary of Kirk, and Decius says, well, in that case, step aside and allow me the glory of the kill.
So this forces his hand really, and he has to start an attack.
He does.
And is this engineering?
No, in the phaser room, Spock
yeah.
comes in and Styles tells him to off. It's literally what happens.
Yeah, this is Styles it's not good.
Literally, as soon as Spock is out the door, a purple gas starts to leak out of a panel.
Yeah. Actually, I think he tells them they can handle things on their own and they don't need Vulcans.
Yeah, without your help this time, he says.
Yeah, very specific. There's something that I think is a coolant unit is overheating.
It's not ideal.
No, not at all. Up on the bridge, Kirk sees the Romulan ship appear as expected and orders the phaser to be fired at it.
Nothing happens. Kirk repeats his order, and hearing that, Spock returns to the phaser room.
Yeah, so Spock was in the corridor. He hears the order from Kirk. He understands that the order has not been implemented, knows something's up, and sprints back to see what is going on.
Yeah. He fires the phasers, saves Styles, and leaves Tomlinson to die.
Good decision. No. Yeah.
He should have saved Tomlinson and left Styles to die. The big racist.
He should have left them both to die.
Well, that's another option.
And we see that the phaser has caused all sorts of damage to the Romulan ship.
They're in a bit of bother.
Massive amount. Up on the bridge, Kirk tells Sulu to move in on the defeated ship and for Uhura to open a ship-to-ship communication on the screen, and the two adversaries meet for the first time.
Captain, standing by to beam your survivors aboard our ship. Prepare to abandon your vessel.
No, it's not our way. I regret that we meet in this way. You and I are of a kind. In a different reality, I could have called you friend.
What purpose will it serve to die?
We are creatures of duty, Captain. I have lived my life by it. Just one more duty to perform.
Yeah, so we see the commander there committing shipicide.
Yes.
I'm not so sure if I was Kirk, I'd be happy with him saying, do you know what, we could have been friends. It's like, no, you're a mass murderer.
Guy.
You're a real bad guy. Just because we're both got the same sort of job. We think entirely differently here.
Yeah. And not only that, I've beaten you.
Yeah. Like they say, because you get some levels of skills.
Yeah, tactical or strategic, yeah.
I mean, that's like having one lawyer and another lawyer, two accountants, and one's really evil, murders people, but you're both really good at the same accountancy practice. We'd have been friends. No, we wouldn't have been friends. We'd both have got a skill set shared here, but you like to kill people, and I don't. I'm not your friend.
Like, you might give advice to somebody. It doesn't mean you want to be friends with Dominic Cummings.
Well, there you go. I definitely don't want to be friends with him. No. Who knows what he's got?
Oh, not only that. Down in sickbay, Kirk checks on Spock, who's fine, and on Styles, who's also fine, but now has respect for Spock.
Yeah, it was quite, I mean, in fairness, I'd rather he died. He's obviously this is a sort of lesson you get in these sort of TV shows. Oh, I realised that he's actually a great guy and I'm no longer a racist and a bigot.
It'd be better if he was unrepentant.
Yeah, and then died.
Yeah, or even just continued to live as a racist.
Yeah, but would you still have him in the show, in the background?
Right, he's not in the show again anyway.
Is he not?
No.
Thanks.
Yeah. I was going to tell you that in 5 minutes anyway.
All right, okay.
Spock spins it unemotionally so that Styles can...
I think he's very gracious here, considering.
Well, yes, because we know that he does have emotions,
yeah.
And he just conceals them. It's not that he doesn't feel anything.
McCoy also reveals that they lost one casualty, and unsurprisingly, it was dead meat Tomlinson. As
you predicted at the outset.
Lucky escape for him.
Well, that's it. Rand enters to relay a message that's a little bit out of date.
What's that?
That Command have said they'll support whatever decision Kirk has to make.
Now, you see, my thought on this is that they held off. Command didn't want to be seen to make a decision where they said, yeah, go and attack. So they've effectively waited to see what happened. Now, in this situation, then they can come in late and go, yeah, we agreed with you. But if it went all...
they've withdrawn their yes vote and they've put in a no vote.
No
one's going to get that.
They won't know. But yeah, so had it all went tits up, then they could have said, oh, we didn't sanction that.
Yeah.
And now they're after timing. Yeah,
possibly.
We're at it as well.
Down in the non-denominational prayer room, Kirk arrives and gives Angela a hug. It's a bit soon to be hitting on her.
Yeah, well, she's pretty fast off the mark, isn't she? I think we see that next week. I've watched ahead one episode.
Well, we'll get to that.
Well, yeah.
He reassures her that her fiancé's death was not in vain.
She says, yeah, I'm all right. It's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, we weren't actually married. We'd just been dating for... And back then, people used to get married after, like...
Aye.
You know, because they weren't allowed to have sex unless they were married, so they were getting married after 3 weeks.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We see Kirk walking through the corridors and reflecting as the credits roll on top of him.
Yeah. Squishy squashy.
That's it.
And there we have it.
Yeah.
Good episode.
I really liked it. I mean, it's remembered as a classic episode, yeah.
Why? Okay, so tell me from...
Mainly because the Romulans are introduced, but also because it's a really good episode.
Right, okay, so for me right now, that doesn't... Like, Romulans don't mean...
They just had one episode like everybody else.
Like everyone else, yeah. So,
but they become one of the main recurring...
Right, okay.
Across all of Star Trek.
Really?
Yeah.
So I did expect when I was watching it, because I mean, I've heard of Romulans before, so I thought this guy might be like who's the other well-known baddie? Klingon, yeah. Him, what's his name?
Which one?
Big head one.
There's lots of them.
Oh, I don't know.
Kor.
Right, okay, so...
Kang.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, I thought that he would be a recurring character.
Right.
So I was surprised at the end when he...
Well, the actor comes back.
Yeah, but not the character.
No.
Okay. We didn't see it was off screen. Maybe he jettisoned himself before he...
It wouldn't be his way.
No. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Okay. I enjoyed this episode. I did have some issues with some of the, again, like Stell's motive was a bit weak. I know you don't agree, but I thought that Kirk was slow to deal with Stell's attitude. Give him a bit too much rope. I think that had it been a normal, I think we need to accept...
Especially in a critical situation where you need everyone to be on their game. To have a guy there who's got this grudge.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Like, if it was a normal workplace, you can send people home, you can sack them, you can do whatever.
They need their best guy.
He needs to, this balance, he still needs him to be part of the team, and if he chastises him too much or effectively puts him on suspension, then they're down a man. So I think that might be the reason why you get a little bit more leeway when you're up in space.
Well, fair enough.
And an under attack environment situation.
I've got a question. Do you think either of the captains made any strategic errors?
Not necessarily errors, like with hindsight, but I think they made decisions based on data and information that were very flimsy.
And they got lucky.
Yeah.
Especially with the blind phaser shots.
Yeah.
Because if they'd missed, then the Romulans have got the upper hand.
Yeah. So the end result was there, but whoa, yeah, risky stuff.
Did you think the Romulan was a worthy opponent for Kirk?
Yes. And I think you'd sort of alluded to it. I think there was a mirror. I think it was a reflection between the two characters and the two sidekicks who both had a bit of bloodlust. So I think they did. They balanced out nicely. I thought he was worthy. I thought they were both capable of understanding each other's. Does that show each other up for being quite strategically weak? If the other person's quite
able to guess
what you're doing, yeah. But maybe they were just so strong that they were both.
Could be.
Like two tennis players in a long rally.
I thought the writing was strong because you learn a lot about the Romulans just in this one episode.
Yes.
You get a lot of depth to them. It's not just, here's a pointy-eared bad guy. You got a lot of... Like you almost feel like you know who the Romulans are. Yeah. Just from that one episode.
Yeah. An evil race who need to be destroyed.
No.
Okay, no.
Okay. Complex race.
Complex race who need to be destroyed.
Related to the Vulcans. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, not really. No.
Should we get on with the...
Yeah, I think I need to get back into it. Like I say, it's been a number of months, so I need to get my
brain fired up.
My Trek head back on.
Okay, let's go through the usual rigmarole. The original air date for this episode was the 15th of December 1966, and the episode was directed by Vincent McAveety, who you've heard of before.
Both discussed, yeah.
Columbo and previous Star Trek. This was the third of his 6 episodes.
Vinnie Mac.
If you go back to Miri, the podcast on Miri, we talk about McAveety a bit more then. Paul Schneider wrote the episode. This is the first of 2 that he contributed for the original series, and he also penned an animated series episode. Beyond Star Trek, he wrote for shows like The $6 Million Man and Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, often collaborating with his wife Margaret.
So he certainly had his style, a bit of a sci-fi writer then, yeah?
Yeah. He died in 2008 at the age of 85. Mark Leonard played the Romulan commander, but he is much better known for his other Star Trek roles, so I'm going to break tradition slightly and hold off on his details.
Okay.
Although he did say that this was the role that he enjoyed the most in the original series, or the one that he thought he had the most acting chops for, the one that needed a bit of gravitas.
Well, I think it'd be hard to top that in terms of he was a very prominent...
Yeah, we'll see if you spot him when he comes back.
Okay.
Paul Comey was Lieutenant Styles. did not appear in Star Trek again, but he did show up in a litany of other TV shows, over 120 credits to his name.
Really?
Including shows like The Twilight Zone, Rawhide, LA Law, and Baywatch.
Okay.
He died in 2016 at the age of 84.
Decent age.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've been watching? Sorry to interrupt
What have you been watching?
We've discussed it, I think, maybe more in we've mentioned it in the Columbo podcast, I think. It's been on Amazon Prime, so I've been watching The Greatest American Hero from the early 80s with William Catt.
You have too much time.
But do you know who Robert Culp?
Is he in it?
Yeah.
Columbo classic.
Yeah.
We'll come to him actually in a moment.
Will we?
Yeah.
William Catt?
No. Culp.
Okay.
Lawrence Montaigne played Decius, the letter of the law, Romulan officer with friends in high places. He went on to appear in one further Star Trek in a different role, and he also appeared in a wide range of other shows, including The Fugitive, Batman, Mission Impossible, and Hawaii Five-0. He also lived into his 80s. He died in 2017 at 86.
Can't complain.
John Warburton, who has some questionable personal issues that you can look up in the IMDb bios.
Tell me.
I'm not going to repeat them on a podcast.
Personal issues?
Well,
political views or
domestic violence related stuff.
That's not personal issues, is it?
I'm not going to get into it.
Okay.
We'll leave it for folk to look up for themselves because it isn't really relevant to the episode.
A drunken wife beater.
He played the Centurion.
Right.
Born in Liverpool in 1899. So another of our 19th century guys. He died in 81 at the age of 82. And his acting career began in the 30s. It included films like Headline Hunters and Secret File Hollywood.
And a bad guy all round.
Yeah. Barbara Baldwin and Stephen Mines played the unfortunate couple whose wedding was interrupted at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
Stephen Mines had appeared in Days of Our Lives and The Lieutenant, but he only made one further acting appearance after this before retiring to start a woodworking business.
Oh, like Nick Offerman?
A little bit, yeah. He died in 2019 at the age of 80, keeping up the trend for this episode. Barbara Baldwin is our Columbo connection of the week. Do you recognise her?
I couldn't tell you the episode, but I think she played like a minor secretary or something like that.
Yeah, she was Robert Culp's secretary when he was Detective Brimmer in Death Lends a Hand.
Brilliant episode.
She also appeared in two further Star Trek episodes and other shows like Macmillan and Wife, Calling Dr. Gannon, and Charlie's Angels.
Still around? Yeah, she's alive still, yeah?
I don't know, I've not written it down. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck
let's
to
just assume that she is.
Cheers.
Let's go to some general trivia.
Okay.
Grace Lee Whitney showed up as Janice Rand here, but we mentioned before in Conscience of the King that she had filmed her last episode. This was her last on-screen, or at least her last small-screen appearance in the role.
Sadly missed she will be.
Oh, yeah.
A good character.
All the reports on this say, we didn't want her getting too close to Kirk. It barely impacted any of the story. They didn't really write it in. It was avoided.
During this episode, but I suppose, this is when they're writing her out as well.
Yeah.
But no, I could feel a little bit of tension or underlying, but it wasn't intrusive.
It wasn't stopping Kirk doing anything else.
No, not at all.
In fact, he'd specifically said he couldn't get involved with his yeoman.
Yeah. And it would have been nice, actually, what you could have done is you could have had that sort of unrequited love where there's maybe a tension, but he never does anything, and he has other romantic relationships with different people around the galaxy, and maybe there's a bit of jealousy with her, and then maybe she does the same, and there's always this will they, won't they, but they never do. It'd have been a nice dynamic to potentially build up.
I don't think it would have been difficult for them to keep her in the show if they'd chosen to.
No. I think there must have been something else. But she's not a raging alcoholic at this point as well.
I think that was later.
All right.
I don't know about the word raging either.
Oh.
Yeah. The Romulan Bridge is a redress of either the transporter room or the briefing room, depending on which book you read.
Okay. I don't read any of them, so...
Well, it was one or the other.
Right.
It was a weird setup for a bridge, actually, with them all huddled round that sort of central station. It gave you the...
Periscope feeling.
Which ties in a little bit to my next piece of trivia. The Romulan Star Empire was invented for this episode by Paul Schneider, who was working on a retelling of the World War II movie, The Enemy Below, and I think maybe one other submarine movie. That one had an American destroyer facing off against a German submarine, so there's where your periscope idea comes in. But the Romulans, of course, they're not Nazi-like. They're more sort of like the Roman Empire in terms of their style and their
the British Empire
approach. Well, you could put it that way.
Colonising, getting out there, murdering people to take their land. Yeah. Okay.
In terms of international titles, a long missed spot on this podcast. Well, not really, but on the last episode.
Was it?
We've not done it for so long.
I'm hoping for a good Japanese one here to lift the spirits.
And I've not spoken in foreign languages for quite some time. That's not true. I've been doing German lessons every day.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
I have.
I've been doing.
What have you been doing?
I've been, cause I bought it a while ago and left it. I've been learning the harmonica.
The harmonica.
Yeah.
In terms of these titles, the Germans go with Spock unter Verdacht, which is Spock under suspicion.
Yeah.
The Italians go with La Navicella Invisibile, the invisible ship.
Going back to the first one, I mean, I don't think from our point of view, from the viewer's point of view, Spock was ever under suspicion. I don't think we as a viewer were meant to think that. No. It was quite clear that the bigot was the bigot.
Yeah. Finally, our friends in Japan, they opt for Uchu Kichi Esu O Esu, which translates as...
I've just... Off the top... No, I can't remember. It'll come to me.
SOS from a starbase.
I was going to say that. Nah.
You're not a fan this week?
Nah.
Okay. Next time, one of my favourites, it's the 15th episode of Season 1, Shore Leave.
Yeah. Should be good.
And until then, I've already told you how to get in touch with us on social media at the top of the show, so please do it. And please, if you've enjoyed our show, tell some of your Star Trek loving friends about it, because the more folk that listen, the better.
Yeah. I mean, use nerds, you go to conventions.
Stop it. They're not going to do it now.
Yeah, when you go to the next convention, tell someone about it.
Stop it. Stop it. You're upsetting people. Fortunately, they've all turned it off, didn't they?
Oh, I should say as well, I didn't get to my... You
didn't get to meet William Shatner?
I didn't know. In fact, you did. After all that, you ended up going that night in Glasgow.
Yes, right at the start of the outbreak.
Yeah, and what happened with me was that I decided... It was right at the start of the outbreak, and technically it was still on. Technically, I think that was the last show he'd done in Europe before cancelling it. So I lost my money.
You didn't get to see him?
Didn't get to see him. I didn't get down. So I lost the flights, and in fairness, I think BA were okay. I got my flights back. Lost the hotel, lost the ticket. I could have technically went, but right at the start of the outbreak, I thought, flying, going to a theatre and sitting with people, and then getting the London Underground is probably not the best decisions to be making at this point, so I bottled it, and I thought, no.
If any of you have the connections and can get Bill Shatner to phone Gerry, please just get in touch.
Like a personal, yeah, I mean, if
it's a personal message, or even just get him to record a personal message.
If it's not too much, yeah, that would be fine, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you all next week.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.